Greetings, my name is Mohamed Adzhar bin Zaidi, and for my final year project 1, I will be presenting daily task organizing and monitoring Android application. This project is supervised by Madam Norazian binti Mohamad Hamdan. For this project, there are entirely 3 different chapters, which is Chapter 1, Introduction, Chapter 2, Literature Review, and Chapter 3, System Analysis and Design, that explains different aspects of the project. In Chapter 1, it provides a detailed report overview of the entire application and the description of the methodology for this project. In this report, there will be diagrams and figures that will help to aid in showing all chapters' dependencies, details, and all its relationship. In Chapter 2, the background of the problem is reviewed and investigated, as it is often consisting of literature review and survey that is related with the problem context and will be analyzed thoroughly. The source for this chapter comes from published material, conference paper, journal, research paper, theses, textbooks, websites, research monographs, and product information. The purpose of this research from various sources is to explore the review of the problem area and the background of the project. In the final chapter, the detailed requirement specification of the project will be established. The project requirements can be found through techniques that consist of interviews, market analysis, customer feedbacks, and literature sources. It is important that the requirements obtained from these techniques to be properly indicated, expressed, prioritized, and detailed. For the introduction, is this COVID-19 pandemic responsible for the declining rate of productivity of an individual? With the existence of a widespread contagious global pandemic that has been going around for more than a year now, it is shown that most people, especially students and employees, are having a hard time keeping up their studies and work when they are at home. That is not entirely wrong, as it is easier to get distracted and procrastinate at home than at the office, as there are no supervisors to monitor their work at home. According to a study, students are not prepared for balancing their work, family, and social studies with their studies in an online learning environment. While productivity is increasing as of now, there are no guarantee that it will be staying that way for a long time. This is because companies such as Microsoft and Affirm saw a large spike in productivity in the first couple months of quarantine, but humans are ultimately a social being. By being away from a social interaction for a long period of time will affect the productivity and their job satisfaction. Furthermore, some students and employees are having a hard time juggling between their work and house chores or free time, as they are in the same place. It is hard to write down their daily tasks and their schedule on a piece of paper because it seems a bit impractical to bring a schedule or a to-do list every time with them. Not to mention they must write a new list on a new sheet of paper every day. Employees and students are having difficulties to keep track of their daily tasks for their work and due dates, such as assignments, quizzes, and project due dates. Besides that, they tend to miss their online meetings and online classes that they are supposed to attend. This problem is caused by most companies and schools or universities are implementing work from home and online learning. With this new environment, many employees and students felt difficulties to adapt themselves to work or studies at their home, because most people tend to procrastinate when doing their job alone and unsupervised. They do not have any tools that allow them to organize and prioritize their work. The result of this situation is that sometimes they feel overwhelmed with their work and will be unable to produce a work with good quality. When worse comes to worse, they are unable to finish their work on time due to poor task management. The importance of being organized has a significant role in work discipline, as it is reflected on the results of their work. By prioritizing which work that is supposed to finish first, students and employees can complete their work by their respective due date. thus producing a work with a good quality. This has been an ongoing issue after the COVID-19 pandemic started and when Malaysia implemented the Movement Control Order, which is a national quarantine that states that all citizens must stay inside their home. This problem is observed by many complaints are made by students and employees on social medias regarding their issues with online learning and working from home after the second Movement Control Order. These are the objectives for this project: to study and analyze the existing applications that are similar as the proposed mobile application, to design and develop daily task organizing and monitoring Android application, to help employees and students to organize their work and studies, to test and evaluate daily task organizing and monitoring Android application by executing a set of test cases to verify the features and functionalities of the application. For this project, the methodology that will be adapted is the iterative waterfall model. It has a few different phases, which is such as requirement elicitation, requirement analysis, design plan, coding, testing, deployment, and maintenance. The advantage of using iterative waterfall model as this application methodology is because of its simple architecture and ease of understanding. The fundamental distinction between the iterative waterfall model and the classical waterfall model is that the iterative waterfall model provides feedback pathways from each step to the stages before it. So, for requirement gathering and analysis, in this phase, requirements are gathered from customers or users and checked by an analyst whether the requirement will be fulfilled or not. After all of this, the software team skips to the next phase. In the design phase, the software is designed by different diagrams that are related to the project, such as class diagram, data flow diagram, and activity diagram. In the coding part, requirements are written in a coding language and transformed into a computer program. In the testing part, after completing the coding phase, it starts using different test methods. There are many test methods, but the most common are white box, black box, and gray box test methods. In the deployment phase, software is deployed to its work environment. In the maintenance phase, after deployment of the software in the working environment, there are maybe some bugs, some errors or updates, so it involves debugging and adding new features. This project focuses on developing an Android application which will be responsible for monitoring daily tasks and work due dates for students and employees. It has three main functions, which is the to-do list, to organize their daily tasks into small chunks, calendar to view their dates and schedule, and reminder to notify the users if there are any close due dates. This project will provide a platform for users, especially students and employees, to organize their routine or schedule better and easier. Through this mobile application, it combines the functionalities of a to-do list, a schedule, and a calendar. The user will realize the ease of usage of this application, as bringing a planner everywhere is a hindrance as opposed to a smartphone. Specifically, this application will show improvement in the quality of life of its users by helping them keeping track of their activities, due dates, and tasks. This is the Gantt chart for the project schedule. It shows when and what to submit for the final year project 1 throughout the semester. With this application, employees and students can add their desired tasks into their sections and subsections to improve productivity by increasing the visibility of the task with categorizing features which make use of colors to differentiate each task. Other than that, the proposed application will allow employees and students to set a notification to ensure that they are not going to miss their due dates or tasks. Besides that, a calendar will allow employees and students to add important events or tasks at a specific date. With these functionalities, employees and students can track their daily progress on their desired work. In literature review, there are published material or sources, literature, similar systems, or applications that will be analyzed and compared. This chapter will assess various existing tools and systems that has the same functionality with the proposed project to develop a system with a better quality as a purpose. With this literature review, the strengths and weaknesses of the current system and methods will be identified, and the proposed project can be further improved by implementing the strengths of current system and methods and improve or remove the weaknesses that existed. As you can see in the feature comparison table, there are 4 tools and applications that are currently being used by targeted users, which is Todoist, Android and Apple devices built-in notes, Google Calendar, and a manual planner. For Todoist, it is a secure application that can add and prioritize tasks on a detailed task checklist and add it to a calendar. It can even set a notification for the task. However, it cannot set colors and write comments to a different task. For Android and Apple built-in notes, it cannot add tasks to calendar, set notification, and cannot set colors to different tasks. For Google Calendar, it can prioritize a task and add detailed task checklist. In the manual method, which is by using pen and paper, it cannot set a notification and it is not secure. Plus, it is difficult to bring a planner wherever you go, unlike a phone. After conducting several interviews with targeted users and did the comparison of similar features on each of the existing methods and tools, the proposed application will be able to add tasks that the users want to. It will allow them to be aware of any tasks that they should do. To increase the productivity and quality of work in any given task, user can choose any task that they want to prioritize according to their due dates or according to their level of difficulties. This will eliminate any redundant tasks and will visualize the hierarchy of current tasks by dividing them into sections and subsections of the task added. They can be viewed better by categorizing each section and subsections by adding a title to the sections according to their appropriate name. To know which task has been done or not, the proposed application can organize tasks into a checklist or a to-do list so users can check when they are finished with their task and will reduce any confusion for the users with the tasks on the list. The proposed application will have a calendar that will make users be more attentive towards their due dates of assignments or project and will allow them to see their future meetings so they will not miss any work and important due dates. It is easier to view due dates by calendar than to write the dates on the side of the task because of the design of the calendar, which is the users to estimate the time to complete each task. Users will be able to set a notification for their task that will be due, so even if they did not open the application, they will still be aware of their due dates and tasks. To improve the visualization of the task, users can set colors to a different task so that they can color code their tasks to their respective priorities or subjects. The proposed application will allow users to comment on their previous tasks and notes if they wanted to, add something to existing tasks, and will provide security in the privacy of the information that is added to the application. This chapter will be focusing on the system analysis and design for this project. It consists of a set of phases and is an early phase of the development of the application. A survey regarding the proposed application and current productivity tools towards targeted users have been analyzed. This survey asks on the problem faced by the users while using the current system and to gather information on how to improve the proposed project. This chapter will also list the requirement needed to be shown and planned to carefully guide the development towards the objective of the proposed project. After posting the survey to targeted users, the questionnaire has 40 respondents that answered the survey from various background and age. The results of this survey shows the effect of how a good organizer will increase the productivities of its user. Based on the result of the survey that is conducted to the targeted users, it is safe to say that a simple and well-developed organizing application will have a positive impact on the productivity of the users. Majority of the respondents gave positive feedbacks regarding the functionality of the proposed project. Thus, the project will be conducted until the proposed application has been developed and completed. As shown in the figure, there are 52.5% of females and 47.5% of males participated in the survey. The most abundant age group that answered were 18 to 25 years old, which are mostly still studying. However, the profession is divided equally between participants who are employed and are currently studying. This is due to not everyone in the 18 to 25 age group is studying, as some is either employed or unemployed. Based on this figure, it is shown that 77.5% of the respondents states that they create a list of tasks before they started doing it, and a large amount of them are still using the manual method, which is by using pen and paper such as memo or a planner. It is also worth noting that the second most tool used is the built-in notes in Apple and Android devices. This shows that there are only a few users that uses a third-party application. The result shows that the respondents still prefer to use the manual method, and the built-in phone notes such as Apple Notes and Android Notes due to their ease of access, and a large portion of them does not know or haven't used any good application that helps them improve their productivity. In this figure, with 1 is disagree to 5 is strongly agree, it shows that more than half of the respondents have trouble completing their work and does not know the due dates of their work. This is due to the poor task management that does not allow them to comfortably complete their tasks before their assigned due dates. Most of the respondents does not even realize when their due date is because there are no reminder to tell them or to notify them. The result shows that most of the participants knows how to prioritize their tasks, but 60% of them are easily distracted from doing their work. The reason for this to happen is because there is no efficient system that they use to minimize the distraction that does not allow them to improve their productivity. If they are using a proper system, they can focus on the task in hand one by one, hence reducing the amount of distraction or discouragement. It is also shown that most of them tend to procrastinate their work by doing it at the very last minute, and 32.5% of them had to stay up late doing their work because of their poor task and time management. In this section of the survey, which focuses on the proposed application, all the respondents agree that an organizing tool should have a checkbox, and 95% of them wants to be notified for their upcoming due dates because they wanted to be reminded to avoid any missed tasks or events. In this figure, the respondents find it easier to be able to divide their tasks into sections and subsections, alongside the ability to categorize their tasks with color codes. Studies have shown that colors play an important part in our visual experiences. Study shows that it has the ability to convey information and can be highly useful in learning and remember things, thus helping students and employees to better visualize their tasks. Lastly, 42.5% of them agrees that it is easier to visualize their tasks and due dates when it is listed on a calendar, while some prefers to write their due dates at the side of the tasks. However, in a study done about on-calendar visualization, it is easier to write the calendar on the calendar because it enables people to reason and identify regular patterns and anomalies quickly. A software requirement specification is a document that explains what the application will accomplish and how it will work. It also outlines the functionality that the product must have to meet the demands of all stakeholders, which are the business and users. For functional requirements, this project is a task organizing and monitoring application where targeted users such as students and employees can add their tasks, manage it, view and manage their calendar, and set a reminder to their desired tasks. The functional requirement of the first user story is adding, editing, and deleting their desired tasks on the application, view added tasks into the sections and subsections, mark any tasks that are finished, a feature to organize the tasks with colors to categorize them, displaying task progress. For the second user story is adding, editing and deleting the desired events or tasks on the calendar, view added events and tasks on the calendar, and a page displaying the whole calendar with tasks on each date. The third user story's functional requirement is a page with listed tasks, adding comments to edit and listed tasks, and a feature to set a reminder with enable device to notify users on the upcoming due dates and unfinished tasks. For non-functional requirements, there are three constraints, which are performance constraint, operating constraints, and interface constraint. For performance constraint, when a user marks a finished task, it should not be deleted straight away. The application will ask user when they want to be reminded for their task and will continue to remind users until the task is complete. For operating constraint, the application should be low on storage to help users with storage issue. And for the interface constraint, the interface should be easy for users to understand with a great design of user interface and user experience alongside easy workflow. For the software requirement, these are the software used in the development of daily task organizing and monitoring Android application. Flutter is a popular framework that uses Dart language for building native mobile apps for both iOS and Android. Besides that, there are also Laravel API, which allows this application to access data and other external software functions. Android Studio is used for Android application development. MySQL is used to store data regarding client details and other needed information, and Visual Paradigm Online serves to build use case, class, and activity diagram. For hardware requirement, the processor used is AMD Ryzen 5 3500X with 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM and using an RTX 2060 NVIDIA graphics card. System design is the process of defining system aspects such as modules, architecture, components and their interfaces, and system data based on specific. It is the process of identifying, creating, and designing a system that meets the specific goal and expectation of a company or organization. In this project, it is designed using an object-oriented approach, which are use case diagram, use case specification, class diagrams, and activity diagram. This is the use case diagram for this project. This figure shows the interaction of the user in the application. This is the main use case that will be available in the system. There are several tasks that students and employees will be able to do in the system, which are add projects, manage project, add tasks, view tasks, manage tasks, add to calendar, view calendar, manage calendar, and add reminder. This is the class diagram for this project. It is a static diagram that depicts an application static view. It's used for a variety of purposes, including visualizing, describing, and documenting many components of a system. A class diagram depicts a class's properties and action, as well as the system limitation. They are frequently utilized in the modeling of object-oriented system. It shows a collection of classes, interfaces, affiliation, collaboration, and restriction. For this project, there are 5 classes, which are the user, project, calendar, task, and reminder. Besides that, this is the activity diagram for the project. An activity diagram is like a flowchart or a data flow diagram, which visually depicts a series of action or control flow in a system. In business process modeling, activity diagrams are often employed. Modeled activity can be both sequential and concurrent. An activity diagram will have a beginning, which is a starting state, and end in both circumstances, a final state. Users start with opening the application. They can either display projects or calendar, and if there are no projects, they would have to add a project first. After that, they can view the tasks that are added to the project, and if there are no tasks, they have to add it first to do other things such as manage and mark tasks. In display calendar, users can review the dates of the calendar and is allowed to add the tasks or add events. Just like in display project, they can only manage the events and tasks in the calendar if they are added there first. Both events and tasks can be set a reminder so that the application can notify the users. In summary, Chapter 1 explains the background and the overview of the entire project with the methodology. In Chapter 2, it explains the comparison between existing application and the proposed application, and the pros and cons of each application is analyzed to improve the proposed application. In Chapter 3, it explains the user requirement that has been asked to targeted users from a survey which yields 40 unique results, which is analyzed to improve the proposed application. All the requirements are explained throughout this chapter to further explain the functional and non-functional requirements, including hardware and software requirement specification. Other than that, the use case, activity, and class diagram for this application is explained using diagram for better understanding of the workflow of the proposed application. That's all from me. Thank you.